welcome in Fairy Tale Tea Time.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Of course. So it's so exciting because it's been a while that we wanted to meet each other, but it was never working out.
It's been a few years since we've seen each other in person.
Exactly. On people that wants to put themselves out there.
100%. Don't care what people think.
Yeah. And for me, I think it's just a natural process too.
Yeah.
Because at first you're so scared. Like I remember I was receiving thoughts that were like, do live videos. I was so scared of doing live videos, and I just started doing live videos on TikTok. And now to get used to talk to the camera and be yourself, that's another thing that's very hard.
It's hard.
Because like we're all like, oh my God, acting in a weird way when we're filming with the camera. So what's your tip, Amira, to act like, to look natural in front of the camera?
Honestly, for me, what started helping is, and I struggle with this too, but I think if you start acting like you're on FaceTime call with your friend.
And split the bill. Tell me about it.
Okay, honestly, only once, because I'm really good at picking people that I go on dates with. Usually, like, I know what kind of quality I'm getting. But when I was younger, I think I was 23, 22, like a long time ago. And this guy took me to a crepe place. So,
Okay.
like a really cheap crepe, the crepe, yeah.
Okay.
So we went, it was maybe $12, $13 crepe.
Yeah.
And then the bill came, and the woman says, "Are they together or separate?" And he goes, "Oh, like two." Yeah. And I was already pissed because it's $12, but whatever. Yeah. I take out my debit card or credit, whatever, and she goes, "Oh, it's cash only." And I didn't have cash.
Yeah.
So she said, "Oh, we have an ATM machine downstairs," because the restaurant was 2 floors. And this guy let me get up, go downstairs to the ATM machine, and get like a $20 bill for change. And obviously I left. I'm like, I'm never seeing this guy again. 2 hours later, he texts me like, "Oh, I had such a good day today. We should do it again." And I said,
Oh my God.
never again. Like,
oh my God, that's crazy.
It's a turn off if the guy doesn't.
Turn off.
What about you? Have you had?
I feel like if I have to pick one story where it happened to me, it would be like in Miami. I was on a date.
In Miami of all places, you would think there that wouldn't happen, but
I was on a date with a guy there, and then and then the guy, like, once he saw after the dinner that I was not staying and continuing the night with him, he was starting to yell at me. He screamed. He was like, "Give me an e-transfer. You gotta give me half of the bill." And everything. So basically, if you go on a date with a girl and you expect to pay for dinner, so she stays with you after. And that's crazy.
Like, it's like they want,
exactly.
They think you owe them something because they paid for a chicken wing. Like,
I like that.
I'm sorry, like, no.
A chicken wing.
It's a chicken wing. Like, honestly, the audacity some men have.
First of all, like, at the age we are now, we are more difficult. We can recognize more the red flags.
Exactly.
We can see what's happening before it happens. And we know more what we deserve. I feel like, I don't know if you are aware of this, because I did my spiritual awakening in 2021. And when this happened, I was able to kind of understand that I was not my thoughts, I was not my body, I was a lot more than this. I was my soul. I was also aware more of which world we were living in, which I didn't know before. So I was just like a little puppet, a little doll before, at the mercy of Flintstones, of a programming, of anyone that I grew up with who would influence me directly, because we are the average of who we surround ourselves with. And so once I detached myself from this programming, from those people that were around me in my life when I didn't even know what world we live in, this was a life changer, and abuse and taken advantage of, and this is what we don't have anymore. And so
I think most women can relate to that. Like, most women have a story, and by the time you're 30, I think you have enough experience to really know what you deserve, your worth, your non-negotiables. Like at this point, I know very early on if someone is worth going on even one date with. So that's why also I think my dating life is a little bit slow, because not a lot of people even get the chance to get a date. You know, it's like I don't see any potential. I see the red flags. I can't afford to waste time.
So what advice could you give to people, like to do like research? Do you speak to the guy like a lot? Like, do you text the man like for so long? Do you like do FaceTime before you meet them? What do you do before you meet a guy?
Okay, so I try to find something about them on social media, or their LinkedIn. I think it's okay to creep someone and try to find, as long as you're doing it for the right reasons. Yeah. So what I usually do, I try to find out what they do for a living or where they work, their social media presence. Personally, I prefer when a man does not have a big social media presence. I have social media because I create content. Yeah. But when you're just consuming social media and you're just following all these IG models, that is a turn off for me. Like, you're not doing it for work. Why are you doing that? So I try to see how many people they follow. That's a big red flag. If he's following like 2,000 people.
For me, I feel like I used to do this in the past, but now, like, as long as you spoil me, just get me Chanel bags, I'm gonna do abstraction of that. But if
how are you getting people to get you Chanel bags? Like, give us that tip.
Myself, and I don't have sex with them.
Nice. And they give you a Chanel bag?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you find me these people? Because I haven't found a man to give me a Chanel bag without sex.
I will. I'm gonna film another video on tip how to get
I will watch
men to give you a Chanel bag.
Yes. I will not be a guest there.
But first of all, this is like, you have to date men that have money for sure. That's the first step.
Yeah.
And the second one is that you have to hold yourself to show the men that, I feel like it only works, not only works, but in my case, like, I don't have sex barely with men, like, like, it's been months since I didn't have sex. And I'm not saying, because people see me doing dates, they see me going on dates with men,
and they assume that you're sleeping.
But I did kiss guys. Okay, yes, because this is the way to see if the sex will be good afterwards, if like I actually you're gonna have a good time. But just hold yourself, don't give them what they want, and then like if they promise you something, you don't do anything until they give you what they told you they will give you too. If a guy tells you, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you this, and he's giving you false promise and false hope, just don't give it to him what he wants. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, you don't hold yourself, masturbate yourself, like 100%. Do whatever you want, but just don't give it to him. You have to be patient and see multiple people, go on dates, because you can't just limit yourself with 5 dates, and then on these 5 dates there's a programming that will influence one guy to not talk to you anymore. Really? It was gonna brainwash another one. Then you're gonna have curses. Then you have jealousy. Then you have a guy that is just broke, or then you have a guy that is like not gonna be patient because he just wanna have sex with you, or a guy that you won't like. You won't like, or you won't like you. And so the chances to find one that the stars are aligned and that it's like working out, it's not easy. So my advice to all of the people is to be patient and to see a lot of men, to have your big like if you can go on 100 dates with 100 different men, do it. Don't content with yourself with 2-3 men, because those 2-3 men, they will be controlled by those oppressive forces that don't want you to find love, that don't want you to have this Chanel bag, don't want you to have that ring and to get married. So you have to expand. Don't stay alone and go see a lot of people.
I think that's an amazing
but don't sleep with them. You can just kiss them. You're allowed to just kiss.
And if they don't wait, you have 99 other ones, because I do think that's a great tip, because also women tend to be more anxious they tend to attach anxiously, whereas men tend to be avoidant. So as a woman, if you have anxious attachment and you're seeing only one or two people, if they don't reply to you for 6 hours, it's going to consume you. Like, why is this person, and you should never.
What do you think about this? Because so I had problem with this.
Me too. I'm
like in my relationship. So men were like, why do you don't text me when I'm at work? Like, and they were blaming me because I would not text them. I would not call them during the day. I was like,
so they were the anxious ones.
Yeah, because I was like, we have a life, like. I don't like text. Like, if a man texts me, what are you doing today? I'm like, why are you not just asking me, like, come, like, get ready. We're going to dinner at 8. I don't want to tell you what I'm doing today. I swear I get mad. I'm like, stop. Oops. And then I stop answering.
The same too sometimes. I think it's... how do you...
But that's just annoying. Like, sorry. Like, when a guy just... He doesn't have a conversation and he's just bothering you, taking your time instead of just asking you out. Like, stop. Like, just
tell me to be ready for 7:30 and let's go for dinner.
Don't tell me what I did today. It's a loss of time. I'm trying to be a billionaire here and don't have time to tell you what I'm doing. Time
for small talk. So, either take me out or keep it moving.
To only be available if he's asking you out or if he's proposing activities or a nice thing, or if he asks you to go shopping.
Like, at Chanel.
Yeah. Right. So probably you saw those men online talking about how women expire faster than men supposedly, and then those men, they look proper. They look like the man that gives flowers to their woman every day, but then they are the douchebag, like coming from Harvard University, thinking they are like the king of the world, and they really think they're intelligent to say this. They really say this with so much like enthusiasm.
Yeah, enthusiasm. I think
and they think because they're like, oh, but that's the truth. I'm seeing it. So like,
well, here's the thing. Do you know the common denominator between all those men is that they're typically men who had to work and like go to an Ivy League school or get a really good job because otherwise no woman would look at them. And then after they get to a point where they feel like, oh, I'm successful enough, they feel like they should be with a 25-year-old their entire life. If a woman is, God forbid, 35, she's expired. She's not good enough for them. She is, not fertile enough.
Don't you think those men should go to prison to say this out loud?
I think it should be a crime. I think it should be a crime.
You think we should change the justice? I
am down for that. I would be down.
We should add this to the change that needs to happen in this world.
100%.
If a man is being caught talking about the age of a woman, jail time.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So men out there, if I see one more video, I'm gonna what I'm gonna do actually. I'm gonna let you. I'm probably just gonna laugh at you because it shows like how miserable you are to talk about the physical body of a woman. It shows that you feel inferior to the woman.
100%.
Because women, we don't need to talk about your age. We don't need to feel superior to you or talk about. Why do we talk about, like, what do we say about men? We just say that they're starving for sex. Do we say that they are expiring, or do we say thing about it? We just, but like saying those type of things is just mean, cruel, and disgusting.
100%.
A man should never talk about the age of a woman.
What
turns you on, Amira? We want to know.
Obviously, honestly,
what's your ideal type? What turns you on?
Ambition. And I'm not saying like, oh, they have to be rich, but they just need to have a lot of just ambition. Like, they're not lazy. They want to make a change in the world. They have a goal, whether it's to be a billionaire or to feed, I don't know. They need to have ambition. Obviously, strong family values are really important to me.
You want to have kids?
I do want to have kids. I'm at a point where I'm okay if I don't have kids because I need to find the perfect man. And if I don't find that perfect man, I can adopt a child, but I'm okay with not having a conventional family because I think a lot of people settle for someone who's not perfect for them just because they feel this society pressure to get married and to have kids. And I am beyond that. Like, I'm already 32. I don't need to find a man. It's fine. If it doesn't happen for me, it doesn't happen.
That's so good. And that's the same thing I tell myself. I'm like, I will finish in a castle with cats and dogs and whatever. But like, if you don't find your right fit, like angels, they don't live in hell. So if you're not gonna make our life a paradise, bring us to Chanel to spoil us and to make our life better, like, no. And I say Chanel, but it can be also just flowers, good attentions. Like, we don't need to have a rich man also talking about this. I don't know what you think about that, but what I've seen from my dating life is that actually the supposedly rich men, they brag about how much money they have. They have a nice car. I've been on date with really rich people, and let me tell you, often they are not generous. So what's the point? Like, you're gonna tell me I have this, I have a car, I have that.
How do you think people get rich, right? It's not by spending money. Usually some of the richest people are very cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not about a rich
Money
man.
does not equal generous.
No, exactly. So we're not looking for a rich man. We're looking for a generous man, a classy, a gentleman.
Someone who buys you flowers and gets you iced coffee and tells you, let's go shopping here, even if it's winners. I don't care. It's the effort, right? But with ambition comes money. So if they have plans to work hard and make it big, then obviously that leads to money, but you're in that process with them.
Like what's like for me, I guess the guy has to have just a minimum, this, like, we don't need to have we really don't need, honestly, to have like, because like I saw this cute clip of a woman, and she's like, honestly, we don't need that much money, like, to be happy or to be comfortable. But like, there's also a limit. Like, a man has to be comfortable to be able to travel, to bring you a security and to make your life better. Because I'm just gonna stay at home if you don't make. I'm gonna stay alone if you don't make my life better.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I feel the exact same way. I think it's not about money. It's just about their effort and their generosity. That is the biggest turn on. Not
about what the man looks like, and
there's no substance.
And it's crazy because it's so in me, like, it processed into everything that I am. It's like how I feel next to a man, like his charisma, like his energy, how he touch me, how he talks, like how he treats me, like. And you can't explain this. You can't control that. I'm not sure if we can call it love, but we can call it maybe chemistry, or you know what I would tell you is, life doesn't give you always what you want. It gives you what you need. So I feel like at this point, if I look back to all my exes that I had, I have no regrets, because I was always in a different phase in my life, and all the exes that I was with, this is what I needed at this time. Right now, like, let's say I'm a targeted individual for 5 years. I'm building my association right now, the Army of Angels United, to stand up for the rights and liberties of people, to stand up for homeless people, to stand up for art attacks, for like a lot of different survivors of this world. And I have a specific need now. A man needs to be there for me, needs to be present. I can't be with a douchebag that is just like thinking about himself. Like, even like, I can't be with a younger man. Like, a man has, I need to have a man, and I'm not scared to say it. I don't want to be alone. I want to have a man in my life, Same.
Yeah, I think everybody feels similar to that. But honestly, for me, physical attractiveness is important. It's obviously not the only thing. And if you're just physically attractive, but you don't have ambition, you don't have anything else going, you go from a 10 to a 6 very fast. Yeah. But at the same time, it's really hard for me to go with someone who has it all, but isn't attractive. Like, that's my problem, is I need to be very physically attracted. That's also, like, it's harder for me to even be sexually attracted to someone if they're not my type. So that's my problem, because I go for good-looking men, but good-looking men know that they're good-looking. And
You ever had an experience giving a chance to a guy that was like maybe not your type, and then he switched
did.
the script on you?
I did. So I used to go. They need to be 6'2" and taller, and I had a very specific type. All my friends would tell you that I find men that all look like they could be in a police lineup. I have a very specific type. The not so good-looking guy ended up breaking up with me,
Flipping the script on you.
So after that, I said, nope, we're going back to the 6'2". I'm not. If they're all gonna be
I
douchebags,
swear to
they better
God,
be good-looking.
you know what I've noticed? I had the same experience. It's crazy, I swear. And I'm not judgmental. You know, everyone is cute. Everyone looks good. I feel like we're all cute little souls. We're so cute.
Yeah, everyone
has their own thing.
100%.
But I have to admit, I felt like I was underestimating those who were maybe like not like the most beautiful ones, we can say it like this, because I felt like they were the ones that were even more difficult. I feel like analyzing more the tiniest little details. And I saw a guy talking like, he was talking about the face structure of a girl and like this. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, and that opened my eye. I was like, okay, you look like this, and then you start looking.
You can talk. Yeah, they're
analyzing like you what, like you're gonna like.
Because you know why? Because men are naturally more confident than women. When women look into a mirror, they see their flaws. They think, oh, like I have a pimple or my jaw. Men look in the mirror and they could be a 6, but they go, ooh, I look good today. They don't have the same problems as women. So when they're already mediocre, average, let's say, and they think they're great already, and then a good-looking woman gives them a chance, their ego is through the roof, because that's why. And then they flip the switch, and I refuse to have that happen again. So
that's what true love is actually, I've noticed in my life that I felt the hardest for those who were actually not my type physically.
Interesting.
That were actually, even physically, I didn't like certain things about them.
Yeah.
And then I feel like these are the people that I felt the hardest. I really started to have feelings for them. And what I didn't like about them physically, I started to see it in a beautiful way. And I think this is true love. There's some people that will love you in the worst of your times. They will accept you the way you are, and they will not want to change you. And so I saw that man again. He wanted to see me after. We're not together anymore after. And I was seeing how he would talk about his religion, and I was just seeing how demoniac, how controlling, how low it was to talk in that way. Because, you know, when you do a spiritual awakening, I'm not saying I'm better than someone, but religion is very about division, about like about judging others.
100%.
There's something demoniac about it. And once you do your spiritual awakening, I'm still Christian. I'm Christian, Catholic. I will always keep this religion for myself. Like, I feel the Bible, there's good truth, there's good things about it. But I decided, and I told God, I was like, do you allow me to keep some of my religion that I was born with, and to also make up my own conclusion with my own experience, with my own perspective of the world, and combine both together, so you can be open-minded and you can be actually a light and not a devil.
Exactly. Yeah.
What religion are you?
So I grew up Muslim, and in some ways I take a lot. There's amazing things in the religion, and then I think the worst part about any religion is what people make them to be, because people who tend to be the most religious are very judgy people. They try to do God's job, and they judge, and they think everybody is a sinner.
They become the devil.
Exactly. So it's ironic, because they become a devil, which is usually a bad thing in every religion. So it's like, what are you on? So I try
to terrorists. They become terrorists.
Exactly. So I just stay in my lane, and I take what I like from the religion, whether it's charity, giving, In Islam, there's fasting, which is really good for your mind, body, and soul.
It's killing the parasite. In the Bible, they say that parasites are actually demons.
Oh,
so, yeah.
really?
So I was on this podcast, and I was just saying I was dating a doctor. My ex, I lived with 1 year with him in Miami.
Yeah.
And because of that, they called me the gold digger because I was dating a
my
doctor.
God.
I don't know what's their
generous?
problem. Oh,
Was he generous?
yeah, he was generous.
Good.
Not at first though,
Okay.
because I waited 6 months before we had sex together. Just so you know.
How? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I made a guy go a
But
year.
at first, he
I
was
beat
not
you.
generous at all. Like, I remember I wanted to buy a $20 dress.
And he did?
And he was mad. And I had to do a crisis and start crying in front of a store.
He
I
didn't
was
buy
like,
you a $20 dress.
and I was like, if you don't get me those shoes, we're over.
Oh wow. Okay, so he's. I mean, I get it. You don't.
And then after it started to really change,
Okay.
because we had a real relationship.
Okay.
But again, there's no secret. You have to be patient. You have to be
Okay,
serious with the person too.
You need to do a podcast episode on how to make a man wait 6 months.
Yeah. So yeah.
How?
We're gonna do one together.
Okay, yeah.
But okay, so just to come back, so those bastards, by the way, I don't do my research. I show up there, and then they just wanted to put me down. And I was having different opinions, just like you said.
Right.
If people judge others still on what they wear today, all dumb and like.
It's 2025.
Oh my God. So that's one thing that I was saying. I was like, first of all, there's people that will be covered in clothing. They will look like the most perfect, respectful woman in the world, but they will be there having sex with your best friend.
Yes.
While you have this girl showing herself with this sexy dress, showing her boobs, showing herself in a bikini, but she will have more values, more respect for you. And if you don't understand this, and this is a simple thing that I was saying, and those animals, psychopath, hosting the show, they came on me telling me I'm a feminist.
Probably.
And then,
what religious?
And then I went from being called a gold digger and a feminist to going to another podcast from my friend in California, Robert, that is now he published a book about the worldwide genocide that we live in. Can you imagine? And then I was speaking about my story about how I was able to survive being a targeted individual. I survived satellite terrorism. So if you want more information, I have like my account on Instagram, TikTok, the Army of Angels United, and also on the Army of Angels I tell people how to survive being a targeted individual. And so, but anyway, so he called me Jeanne d'Arc with a big emotional intelligence. So we see, like, depending where you go, even when with men, coming back to men, from one ex to another, I swear they all have a different definition of me. Some call me difficult, some tell me the sweetest sweetheart, some tell me I'm aggressive, supposedly.
I agree.
Some tell me I don't want to have sex, because I feel like you cannot give the same thing to everyone. It's just normal.
No, you can't. Yeah, but I think it just shows more about them than you and how judgy they are, and it's sad. I think they're sad people.
And love everyone. I love you so much.